Imagine sitting in a packed theater or watching a live show on TV, laughing, cheering, singing along, and suddenly realizing you've just watched someone's final moment. No cut, no retake, no dramatic music, just a real person on a real stage whose life ended while doing what they loved. Tonight's video is about 12 performers, actors, wrestlers, and musicians whose final moments happened in front of audiences and cameras. Some fell mid-joke, some collapsed mid-song, some were lost in shocking accidents that changed safety rules forever, from legendary comedians to global music stars and beloved TV personalities. These stories are emotional, surreal, and unforgettable. Stay with me till the end, because this isn't just a list of tragedies. It's also about how fragile live performance really is, and how every show you see might be more intense, more risky, and more demanding than you ever imagined. Tommy Cooper and Tiny Tim, when the joke became reality. On April 15th, 1984, legendary British comedian-magician Tommy Cooper stepped onto live television prepared to deliver another chaotic act. He was famous for turning mistakes into comedy gold, so when he suddenly collapsed mid-routine, the entire theater erupted with laughter. They thought it was part of the act, but behind the curtain, panic surged. Crew members rushed in, trying not to disrupt the broadcast as they realized something was terribly wrong. Moments later, Cooper was gone. His final gag had been a real medical crisis, and millions had watched it without knowing. Decades later, Tiny Tim, the falsetto singer behind Tiptoe Through the Tulips, had a similarly surreal final moment. Despite years of heart issues, he kept performing. On November 30th, 1996, at a Minneapolis gala, he insisted on singing one more song. Halfway through, he stumbled, finished the performance, and collapsed as he was helped backstage. He never regained consciousness. Both men lived for the stage, and in a shocking twist, their final moments became part of the performances audiences will never forget. Mitsuharu, Misawa, and Owen Hart. When performance meets real risk. Wrestling is a world where scripted stories hide real physical punishment, and sometimes the danger becomes all too real. In 2009, Japanese icon Mitsuharu Misawa was performing in a tag match known for stiff, hard-hitting moves. When he took a deep impact suplex, he didn't stand up again. Fans watched in silence as medics rushed into the ring, performing CPR in front of a stunned arena. Misawa, known for enduring brutal matches for decades, passed away from a severe spinal injury. And then there's Owen Hart, whose tragic accident is one of the most infamous moments in wrestling history. In 1999, during a live WWE pay-per-view, Hart was supposed to descend from the rafters on a harness as part of a comedic superhero entrance. Instead, a gear malfunction caused him to fall nearly 80 feet into the ring. Cameras cut away instantly, but the audience knew something had gone horribly wrong. He passed away later that night. Both men were elite performers, and their losses forced the wrestling industry to rethink stunts, safety checks, and what entertainment should never cost. Steve Irwin and Carl Wallenda, the masters of risk. Some performers spend their entire lives walking the edge, literally and figuratively. Steve Irwin, known globally as the crocodile hunter, had spent decades working with the world's most dangerous animals. While filming Ocean's Deadliest in 2006, he approached a stingray in shallow water for an underwater shot. Usually calm creatures, stingrays rarely attack, but this one struck with its barb. It pierced Irwin's chest, causing a fatal wound before his crew could save him. His death shook the world, because Irwin wasn't reckless. He was experienced, passionate, and deeply knowledgeable. It was simply the one moment where nature turned unpredictable. Carl Wallenda, on the other hand, lived his entire life in the air. At 73 years old, he attempted a high-wire walk between two hotel towers in Puerto Rico. Winds shook the line, cameras rolled, crowds watched from below, and then Wallenda lost balance. The fall was captured on film, ending the life of a man who had pushed human limits for decades. Both Irwin and Wallenda died doing what defined them, embracing risk to inspire millions. Papa Wemba and Kostatich, when the rhythm suddenly stops. The stage is supposed to be a place of joy, but sometimes music meets tragedy without warning. During a festival in Ivory Coast in 2016, world-renowned Congolese legend Papa Wemba collapsed mid-performance. Dancers continued for a moment, confused, until the music abruptly stopped and people rushed in. Video of his fall spread worldwide, turning what should have been a celebratory concert into a heartbreaking final chapter. In 2023, South African rapper Costa Titch was performing at Ultra Johannesburg, one of the biggest electronic festivals in the world. Phones were recording from every angle when he stumbled, got up, kept rapping, and then collapsed again. Despite immediate help, he passed away soon after, leaving fans stunned by how quickly a high-energy performance turned into a tragedy. Both men were at the top of their craft, proving that the stage demands everything, even when the body can't keep up. KK and Valencia Prime, Lights, Heat, and Hidden Stress. In May 2022, beloved Indian playback singer KK performed a packed concert, and Kolkata fans sang along, unaware that the intense heat inside the venue was taking a toll on him. After the show, he rushed back to his hotel, collapsed, and was pronounced dead soon after. The suddenness of it shattered millions who grew up listening to his voice in films and albums. Just months earlier in Philadelphia, Valencia Prime, known for her vibrant drag performances and joyful personality, collapsed while hosting her weekly show. She was taken to the hospital but didn't survive. She was only 25. Tributes poured in across the community, remembering her as a rising star whose stage energy hid the stress her body was quietly enduring. Both stories reveal how the physical strain of performing, lights, heat, adrenaline, can overwhelm even talented, confident entertainers in an instant. Christina Grimmie and Dimebag Darrell, when safety is not enough. Some of the most devastating final moments didn't come from accidents or health issues. They came from failures in security that should never have happened. In 2016, singer Christina Grimmie was doing what she loved most, meeting her fans after a show in Orlando. She welcomed each person with open arms, smiling, hugging, and thanking them for supporting her music. But one person in that line had a hidden motive. The moment she reached out to greet him, he attacked. Her brother acted instantly, tackling the man to the ground, but her injuries were too severe. The entire music world mourned her loss and demanded answers on how such a tragedy could occur in such a small, intimate venue. Years earlier, in 2004, legendary guitarist Dimebag Darrell was performing with his band Damage Plan. When an armed individual stormed the stage and opened fire, fans thought it was part of the show for a split second before panic erupted across the venue. Several lives were lost that night before police intervened, marking one of the darkest moments in rock history. What made these tragedies even more heartbreaking was how quickly a joyful moment turned into chaos. Both Grimmie and Dimebag had built careers on connecting closely with fans, moments that should have been safe, warm, and memorable. Instead, their final seconds exposed how vulnerable performers can be when security lapses. These events forced venues to rethink everything from bag checks to presence of trained guards to how close fans can get before and after shows. Their stories are painful reminders that fame doesn't guarantee protection, and even the most open-hearted performers can be put in danger by a single unfiltered moment. The hidden cost of performing live. When we watch a concert, a stand-up show, a wrestling match, or a high-energy festival set, we see pure entertainment. But for the person on stage, the reality is far more intense than what reaches the audience. Performers deal with extreme heat, from stage lights, heavy costumes, long sound checks, hours of rehearsals, and the pressure of keeping thousands entertained every single night. Many go on stage after sleepless flights, quick venue changes, or lingering health issues they ignore, just to keep the show moving. Take KK, for example. His final concert happened in a packed hall with high temperatures, bright lighting, and almost no ventilation. He still hit every note, smiled at the crowd, and gave the performance of a lifetime. Nobody in the audience could see how exhausted his body truly was. Or Valencia Prime, who brought unmatched energy to every show. Drag performers dance in wigs, makeup, corsets, heels, and heavy outfits under intense heat. What audiences see as glamour is actually hours of physical strain. Even seasoned stars like Tiny Tim and Tommy Cooper kept performing. Despite prior health warnings, Masawa wrestled through years of accumulated injuries. Costa Titch powered through his set until his body could no longer keep up. The truth is simple. Performing live pushes the human body to its limits, and sometimes Those limits are crossed without anyone noticing until it's too late. The rules. These tragedies forced the industry to change. The entertainment industry didn't walk away from these tragedies unchanged, far from it. Many of these final moments became catalysts for new rules, new safety standards, and entirely new ways of protecting talent. After Owen Hart's accident, wrestling companies worldwide implemented strict bans on unnecessary aerial stunts. Harness systems, rigging inspections, and safety rehearsals became more regulated, ensuring no performer was ever put at similar risk. Again, concert venues and music festivals stepped up too. Following cases like Papa Wemba and Costa Titch, global events increased on-site medical teams, added cooling zones for performers, and enforced health monitoring backstage. Many festivals now require hydration checks and mandatory rest periods for artists performing multiple sets. Christina Grimmie's tragedy led to major changes in security meet and greets that once allowed open access, now include bag checks, metal detectors, controlled entry zones, and trained security staff positioned close to the artist. Smaller venues that used to rely on minimal protection were suddenly pushed to adopt stricter systems. High-risk performance trades like high-wire acts and animal-centered shows saw reforms too. After Carl Wallenda, rigging and wind speed regulations became more closely monitored. After Steve Irwin, wildlife productions developed new guidelines about proximity, unpredictability factors, and protective protocols for film crews. Even the unexpected collapses of artists like KK, Valencia Prime, and Tiny Tim pushed many event organizers to rethink temperature control, ventilation, and backstage medical readiness. Their final moments were heartbreaking, but they sparked changes that have already saved countless lives. Their final bow, and why their legacies matter. As the stage lights fade and the final echoes of applause disappear, what remains is the legacy these performers left behind. Tommy Cooper made millions laugh until the very second he fell. Misawa's strength defined an entire wrestling generation. Steve Irwin's passion for wildlife changed how the world understood nature. Papa Wemba, KK, and Costa Titch gave everything to their music, right up to their final moments. Christina Grimmie and Dimebag Darrell connected with fans with pure, genuine hearts. These 12 performers weren't just entertainers, they were people who poured their souls into every moment on stage. Even in their last seconds, they were giving something to the world. Joy, music, comedy, inspiration, or simply their presence. And that's why their stories continue to move us. Their final moments might have been sudden, but their influence didn't vanish. It lives on through their work, their fans, and the passion they shared so fearlessly. Before you go, take a moment to honor them. Share your thoughts, your memories, or the performance that touched you the most. And here's my question for you. Which of these final moments shocked you the most, and whose legacy do you think deserves a deeper documentary on this channel? If you want more powerful deep dive stories like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because behind every spotlight is a story, and some of them deserve to be remembered forever.